Let's go.
Real talk with Rhonda Knight.
I said,
Real talk with Rhonda.
she gon' talk about it. 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 Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's a blessed survivor. Real talk. An author. Rhonda Knight. And an entrepreneur. Let's go.
Real talk with Rhonda Knight.
It's
Real talk with Rhonda Knight.
okay.
Real talk with Rhonda Knight.
That's it.
Real talk with Rhonda.
Come on.
Real talk with Rhonda Knight.
It's
Real talk with Rhonda Knight.
let's go.
Real talk with Rhonda Knight.
That's it.
Real talk with Rhonda.
All right. Well, hey, Real Talk with Rhonda Knight. Welcome to our show. And this is a live show we're doing today, but this is a very special show for me. I know you guys haven't heard from me in a little bit. You heard from me over at the Impact and Influence Authors Association because we just had a great and amazing, wonderful conference as we do every year. But today is a special day for me because I am out live at the Morrow City Hall in Morrow, Georgia, 1500 Morrow Road. And we are out giving information to the community during National Crime Victims' Rights Week. And we're doing this in conjunction with HUMS, as you see in the background, and Voices of Black Mothers United. And so we are excited about being able to reach out to you. Today, I'm going to interview some of the people we have here, and we're going to talk about why it's important to get the community involved in this week. And we're going to be here till about 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in the Atlanta metro area, make sure you come down and join us. And we have some of our mothers. This is Aaliyah that we're going to be interviewing next. And she's also brought some of her artwork. And I have some pieces right here that we're going to talk about in just a moment. But I want you to hear a little bit of her story. We also have one of our authors from the Impact and Influence Authors Conference, CD Truth. She's going to be talking about her book and the crime that she survived. And then I'm going to talk to you in a little bit about my book and my story of surviving attempted murder and rape in Michigan. And we have a wonderful, wonderful two other people that you'll be hearing from today. One is CD Truth's daughter, Rachel, who has written a wonderful journal, and it's a therapeutic journal. So you're going to love hearing from her. And then we have someone from the Morrow Police Department that I love what I've seen since I've been working with Clayton County on a lot of outreach for the community. And I've seen Sergeant Rodriguez before on another occasion, always reaching out, making a difference in the community, you know, as an advocate for the community from the police department. So we'll be hearing from her in a little bit as well. Now, remember, you can always make comments and I can see your comments live and we can answer those comments. You can ask questions if you like as well. This is a very, very important thing, guys. This is nationwide that we're celebrating and we're educating people on National Crime Victims' Rights Week. So we're going to talk about why that's important today. So first of all, please help me welcome Aaliyah here today. Hey, Aaliyah, how are you today? Wonderful, wonderful. So Aaliyah, I do want you to share your story with our viewing audience so that they can know why it's important, why this week is important to you, and what happened in the situation with your children. And by the way, she's a part of the Moms with Voices of Black Mothers United. And so go ahead, Aaliyah, what would you like to share?
Yes, I am the mother of Starlin and Stanford Henderson. They were murdered in a triple homicide in 2017, along with my son's best friend since childhood, Eric Robinson.
Okay.
It's important to me to tell people the side effects, that everything doesn't end for us after the funeral. Everything doesn't end after the news clippings or what you see on the news. We are surviving.
Yes.
The trauma that has been done to us. Not only us, the kids that are left behind. My son had a daughter Faith
Mhm.
Henderson, and she turned 1 year old the day after their funeral.
Wow.
To this day, she talks about her father. She asks for her father.
Mhm.
And one day she's going to want to know the story.
Mhm.
And one day she's going to find out even more information on her own through social media
Yeah.
or, just all that the ways people can find out things. But it's, I think it's just important for young people to know that there's a way to deal with your anger
Mhm.
or when you have a disagreement with somebody, whatever the reason, because in the end, there's no good reason. There's no good reason.
Right.
Not only are we affected, but our family members, our
Mhm.
nephews, our nieces. The trauma is throughout the whole entire family. The
That is so
trauma
true.
is uh, with the friends that was close to them, and you try to leave some kind of legacy behind. And I never thought I would be. I always thought I lived a mediocre life.
Mhm.
I just went to work. I took care of my kids with my ex-husband till they grew up,
Mhm.
and I was just living my normal life. And I never thought in a million years some people might know me as that lady that kids were murdered in a triple
Wow. Wow.
homicide.
Wow. Yeah.
You know,
Nothing you
but
would ever fathom would happen to you.
no. But thank God for community, your community as in your inner circle.
Mhm.
My inner circle was good. My inner circle was good. My family was good to me. I would like to say if you have anybody in your family or close friends that you haven't talked to in a while, just check on us. We don't,
Yes.
a lot of, we are parents' worst fear.
Mm.
And sometimes people, they kind of get standoffish because they don't know what to say to us. And believe me, everything don't need to be said. A simple text,
Mhm.
we're thinking of you. I'm thinking about you. If there's anything I can do, really, there's not really much anybody can do for our situations because we do want our kids back, and that we cannot have. And I do understand that they never belong to me. They belong to God first. So, but just check on your friends, your family members that even if you stop by and just sit with us, in quietness. There's lots of things you can do.
And
But
I do want to stop you right there
Mhm.
because, guys, since I've been, I'm a national lead, one of the national leaders with Voices of Black Mothers United, which is a nationwide organization and just dedicated to giving mothers a voice who have lost their children and creating connections with law enforcement and our community to see what we can do better to save our youth. And so I've heard a lot of mothers tell me their stories and they don't forget about them. And it's so important because even for myself, I survived attempted murder and rape. When you heal from, in my case, when I healed from that, I, on the outside, let me say where it looked like on the outside that I was healed from it, there was still a battle going on inside me. And people wouldn't know that. But as she's saying, a person who has lost their child, they need to know that someone somewhere is praying for them or thinking about them, or you're on their mind. Even if you just call to say, "Hey, you doing okay? Just want to check in on you," or like she said, come and sit with her just to listen. You can just come and be in silence, but be that support that they need. Don't leave that family alone, or that mother alone, or that father, or that sibling, because it is an inner battle that they go through that is not just a daily inner battle. It is a hourly, minute wise, whatever, throughout the day. Different emotions can come upon a mother. If you're a parent out there, then you should understand and know, from the perspective of how much we love our kids, what that would be like not to have that child. It's not something you get over. It's not something you ever really get over if you lose a child, and especially losing a child to violence, losing a child, period, but especially to violence. And so we have to come together and do better as a community, or as a friend, or as a family member, to support those who have been victims of crimes. And that's why this week is so important across our country, because we need to educate people to have a better understanding what's going on in the minds of a victim, or in the minds of a survivor who has lost their child, where the child was the victim. And so please hear the words that she's saying. And I want to ask you about your artwork, because I know that you started painting shortly after that. And I have a couple of things to say. We are at Morrow City Hall, and it's at 1500 Morrow Road, and that's just outside of Atlanta, the Atlanta metro area. Come on down, support us, guys. Come on down, support what we're doing. We're also auctioning off. She donated 3 pieces for us, because part of what we're doing it as a fundraiser to help us to continue to reach out to the community. I'm going to read some statistics from the Office of Crime, the Office for Crime Victims, some pamphlets and information that we have to pass out as well. And again, we have authors here, we have artists here, we have some of my products. You know, everybody that knows Rhonda knows that I love hats and purses and jewelry, and my books are here as well. And then we have an officer from the community, from Morrow Police Department, that's here as well with handouts for you. So lots of information. Maybe you're not a victim of a crime, but you may know of someone who is. And so to come on by here and be able to pick up some material to share with them would be awesome. We're doing, come out, buy one of the pictures we're auctioning off, or buy one of her pictures that she's selling, and some of the books that we have here as well, and be helping your community by helping us to continue our outreach. So we're going to talk about some of your paintings, and I'm going to start with this one that you did, and it says 1,000 moments I had taken for granted. 1,000 moments I had taken for granted. And she actually let me choose 3 pictures to use as an auction piece. And this touched me because of the fact that this can be for anyone. You didn't have to lose someone, but we all take for granted life sometimes. And if you have not experienced any type of crime, or if you have not lost someone to violence, or to a horrific accident or something, you may not understand this. But life is precious. It is so precious. So what are you going to do to make a difference in this world? Are you going to be a person that leaves here and you didn't do anything to make a difference? I'm sure that's not what you want to be. And guys, you know, this is Real Talk with Rhonda Knight. So, you know, I really talk about what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. And so I'm going to keep it real with you. I really am. And so this piece right here, if you're interested in getting this piece, reach out to us at 678-888-5599. 678-888-5599. Now, Aaliyah, when you did this piece, tell me about this piece. What does it mean to you, and what does it really
I
say
can
to
tell
you?
you what all the pieces mean to me.
Okay.
All the pieces are secret language. When you read what I put on my art, it's the secret language of grief. Every mother, father, sibling, we know before actually spoken. So whatever you read on my art is what we feel inside on a daily basis. What you see is what we're thinking in our hearts. You know, it's hard to admit that you're a broken person. And I know that some people, it might be hard to hear, you know, as time go on, you think people get over it, but we are learning to survive, and part of learning to survive is to really feel what you're feeling at all times. So when you do read any of my pieces, you're it's the secret language of grief. It's what all of us are feeling inside. If you talk to any other person that's going through grief, especially a mother or a father or siblings, this is what we can communicate without even saying words. We all feel the same at some point of any given day or any given time of the day.
And read this one for me while I'm holding it up because
It says a mother's instinctively protects her child. A grieving mother instinctively protects her child's memory. And that's important to me. I always tell mothers that have lost their kids to gun violence that we are the keepers of their memory. And when we tell the world what happened to our children, we are letting people know that there's not of violence. What you see is a broken heart when you read my art. It's my broken heart of how I feel behind losing my child.
and that is something. And then for my youth, my young people out there, or just people that have made, let's say you made bad decisions, but you're looking to change your life and turn your life around, listen to these interviews that I do today, because hopefully it'll touch something in you and help you to understand why it's important for us to come together as a community to stop violence, why we have to work together. And so you might have been on that other side of things, but come on this side where we're trying to make a difference. Okay? That's really what it's about. We need to come together and stop senseless violence. And this piece here, this one is a little bit different because you didn't put wording in this. What does this mean to you?
That picture, I'm going to tell you one thing about grief. Grief is not really pretty. Grief is chaotic. And even though some people might look at this as it doesn't have any words on here, they might think that is pretty, but look how chaotic it is at the same time. But it's just, I never painted before up until maybe about 9 months ago, I started painting. And, it's just me and how I was feeling that day.
Well, I want to say, guys, again, if you're interested in getting in any of Aaliyah's pieces, come down today, see her today. She has so many beautiful pieces that, I could turn my camera around there, but it'll be looking a little bit crazy. But I'm going to post some pictures of some of her artwork and some of the other vendors that we have here, some of their books and information that we have for you. And so you'll see it here, and you'll also see it when I post this on my Facebook page, as well as in the Impact and Influence Authors Association. Let me see what this comment is. Gina, I love you so much. That's one of my authors that published through my company, Lady Night Enterprises Publishing. Thank you, Gina, for being on here. We really appreciate you. And so, guys, don't forget, you can also comment as well. And then I want to also talk about the fact that you put a thank you in each of your on the back of each of your pictures. And would you like to read and share that with everyone, what you'd like to give with a piece of art? So remember, you can come down here and buy a piece of art live. You also can look at getting some of the pieces that she donated to Voices of Black Mothers United as a way of a fundraiser. If you're interested in the 3 pieces I just showed you, again, call 678-888-5599. Thank you, and we appreciate the support. And I'm ready whenever you are.
Yes, I wrote this because I wanted people to know that if they happen to come from my art, and don't know much about me, it's just a little letter of why I even started painting. It says, I am the mother of Starlin and Stanford Henderson. They were murdered in a triple homicide in 2017. My art is the secret language of grief. And I also put my email address on the card. And I want to say something else too, real quick. Another thing, the biggest gift that you can give to us parents that have lost our kids and their siblings is not just forgetting about us. Our biggest fear that people will stop talking about our kids. A lot of people sometimes they think, well, I better not bring it up because it might hurt her. It hurts more when nobody talks about them.
Yeah.
It hurts more when you see people just go on with their life, and we understand it. We do understand it, but it's painful. Our kids they lived and they were loved.
Yes.
And for when days go by and nobody says anything about our kids, it can be painful.
Wow.
And so even I know when Nipsey Hussle had passed, my nephew on Facebook had put Nipsey Hussle. He said Mino. Mino's what I call my son. He said Mino was my Nipsey Hussle. Things like that mean a lot. Or when I see my son's girlfriend's kids write something on Facebook about how much they miss him, or that they're going to they're taking care of his little girl for him and making sure she's okay. Just random comments of people posting something about my kids, or a text that you get. I had a dream about Star, or just anything. It means a lot to us.
And I thank you for being so candid and sharing with us, because sometimes I think people don't know what to say or how to react or how to deal with someone that's been a victim of a crime or that has experienced a horrific crime where the loved one was taken away. And so I thank you for being candid to help people have a better understanding. I remember talking to even one mother, and she said that people say, my daughter's gone on to heaven to be with God. And that may be the case. But she said, I don't want to hear that. That doesn't make me happy, because I want my daughter here with me. And we don't think about that, because we're always trying to think, what can we say to be consoling, or, that would be a good thing to say. And then a lot of times people say things that they hear other people say. So you become repetitious in what you're saying, but you have to really come from your heart and speak with that mother or that parent or that sibling and see where they're coming from, what it is that they need from us. As a human being on this earth, we have to learn to be sensitive to what that person's individual needs are, because it may be different from the next person that's dealing with the same exact thing. And I want to tell you some statistics, and this is from the the Office for Victims of Crimes. And we have a lot of these pamphlets here too that we're passing out with information from everything from homicide to sexual assault to child abuse to, as a parent, what do you do about child abuse, to stalking, to being robbed, different crimes that can happen. We've got information that we want to pass out to you. So don't forget, come on down and share this. If you're listening now, bring someone else on, share it on your Facebook page, share it on your YouTube. Let people know that we're talking live. We're here. We're trying to make a difference in our communities. So statistics says an estimated 14,748 persons were murdered nationwide. That means one every 36 minutes. And this is the statistics from 2010, but we're in 2022. So imagine that these numbers are probably significantly higher, but these are the statistics that I have here. It says 77% of murder victims were male and 23% were female. For homicide, in which the type of weapon was specified, 68% were committed with firearms. And it says when the age and sex of a perpetrator were known, homicide offenders were most often males, a ratio 10-1, and adults, a ratio 9-1. And it says 32% of homicide victims were white, 38% were black, and 30% were classified as other or unknown. Now, it says also when the race of a victim and an offender was known, homicide was generally interracial. White offenders murdered 82% of white victims, and black offenders murdered 96% of black victims. This is white on white crime, black on black crime. How do we stop the violence, no matter what the race is? But how do we stop the violence in our own communities? I mean, those are alarming numbers, and a difference needs to happen. So I encourage you to get involved in some way in your community to see how you can make a difference. Okay. You know, I'm always pushing people to go to that next level and do something that's not what you would normally do. You know, start changing, stop thinking about self. In America, we're taught so much about me, and about I. It's all about me. Well, what about the fact that it's not all about you? I hate to bust your bubble, but it's not. It's really, if you're really a caring person, it's about what you can do to make a difference for others. And so I'm gonna leave that alone right there and let that marinate for you to think about it. Aaliyah, I thank you so much for sharing with me. I'm gonna bring one of our authors on next, and while they're kind of changing, I want to put something up for you all to know about the organizations that's here at the Morrow City Hall today. And one is, one moment here, went a little bit too far. Voices of Black Mothers United. Voices of Black Mothers United. And I do want to show you where you can go to the website for both of the organizations that's a part of what we're doing in the community today. The website for Voices of Black Mothers United is voicesofblackmothers.com. And then for HUMS, HUMS is a nonprofit to help stop violence towards people, especially women and children. And I'm a founder of that. And that is h-u-m-s.org. So go visit both those websites, see what you can do to get involved. If you want to come on the movement with what we're doing, we appreciate you and we welcome you to come on board as well. And then also the other organization is HUMS, and I'm going to bring that up for you as well. Okay. And we're going to switch you out. You coming next? All right. I'm going to unplug that for one moment.
Okay. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Aaliyah. Appreciate you. All right, guys. Sorry, I had to unplug my plug so I can get by. We're on location, so sometimes you got to do a little stuff. Well, hey, guys. Some of you who follow me on the Impact and Influence Authors Association or Author Show, then you've probably met this beautiful young lady before. This is CD Truth. She's an author. She's been featured on the Impact and Influence Authors Conference tour that we did, and conference that we did actually the beginning of April. And so I'm excited to have her here, and she's got a copy of her book. We're going to be interviewing her from a perspective of being a survivor. And we're kind of switching over. We're talking about survivors now of sexual assault and abuse and rape and those types of things. So I want to welcome right now CD Truth. How you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank
Wonderful.
you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. So tell me about your story. First of all, hold your book up. I want people to see this, and I don't know if y'all can see that clear or not. Let me take it this way from an angle. Maybe you can see it better there. Oop, moving here. But anyway, it's called Date Rape from the Pastor.
Right.
And it says A Wolf Out of Control. So tell me about this book, and is it based on a true story?
Yes, this is my story. I was date raped by a pastor. And little did I know at the time, after that situation happened, I journaled about the situation to get through my process. My process entailed me getting counsel. Also, between my prayer life, my faith in God, and counseling and journaling. Journaling was a big part of the process to get through that trauma. And about a year before COVID hit, my journal actually sat for several years. And then just before COVID hit, the Lord said, I need you to publish that. And I was taken back because I was like, are you serious? Because I can barely spell. And I was like, and you want me to write it, tell my story? Long story short, I did get it done. And once my story was released, I had the police department in the city in which I live. They reached out to me and said that there's an agency that could use my voice,
Wow.
which
Awesome.
is a sexual assault center, survivor center. And so from that, I was invited to be. I went in to the center, and they offered to train me for free, so I can take. Now I'm actually a sexual advocate for sexual assault survivors. I take phone calls, and we help the community and anyone that's been sexually assaulted, be it men, women, boys, girls. We help everyone
I
because
love it.
sexual assault affects every community, every race, every gender. And so that's just something that, as a sexual assault survivor, I now am using that as my platform to help others get through that process of healing.
Great. That sounds wonderful. I'm so proud of you. Now, let me ask you too, did you come across any type of negativity? Because there are so many stereotypes when it comes to sexual assault. And it's sad because it literally hasn't changed that much from how it was in the past, where they would make women or people who had been victims of sexual assault be quiet about it, don't talk about it, don't tell people, or they wouldn't believe what happened. And we've come a long way, but there are still stereotypes and things that happen when you try to share your story. So when it came to the point of a pastor doing this to you, then what would you say? Or let me ask you, did you experience any kind of pullback or any type of resentment or any type of negativity because you wrote this book?
Yeah, I did on just one occasion, because everyone else, on the majority of the people that I spoke to or have come to me about my book, has embraced the process. They said, you know what, I commend you for sharing your story. It takes bravery. And I've had men and women come to me and say, they wish they could share their story, but they're too ashamed. And some of them said it would hurt their family if it was to get out that someone in their family has sexually assaulted them. So I've only had one incident where someone came to me and said they thought that I was bashing pastors. And the person who said that, someone had to correct them. They said, no, her book is not about that. It's actually just telling my story, which it is.
Right.
It's just about telling my story. And I have had on occasions, people have asked me, are you taken back? How do you feel about the clergy now? And I says, you know what? I love the clergy. They didn't do it to me. It was one person. And I
Right,
can't just
exactly.
throw out the baby with the bathwater. It's only one person that did that. And sure, there's other people out there that are perpetrating that type of crime on people. But the point I'm making is that was one individual. So I didn't hold everybody accountable. I just held that one person accountable. But my story is called Date Rape by the Pastor. If you can't remember that, my pen name is CD Truth. And the Lord gave me that title because he says, I need people to see the truth. And a lot of us hold the truth, but we hold it. Really, we know the truth, but we won't share the truth.
Right. And what can that do to your health? Do you know?
Yeah, it's very stressful. And a lot of
Yes.
people will withdraw, become depressed, suicidal, or even sometimes people use drugs as a method of coping,
Right. Or
alcohol.
True.
And I've had one person come to me and said, you know what, they started using drugs and they couldn't get off of it because of what happened to them. And they needed help so much so that they had to give their child over to their mother.
Wow.
So the mother could raise it because she just couldn't cope with what had happened to her. So there is help out there. There's agencies in every community. There's a sexual assault center in most communities. If you're not familiar with that, then you might want to reach out. There is a phone number. You can look the phone number up. It's called, RAIN. And their number, if you reach out to them, the number is 1-800-656-HOPE. That's HOPE. Or it's again 1-800-656-4673. And just reach out to them and they can put you in contact with someone in your community that can help you with that situation and connect you to other agencies that can help you through that process.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. And then let me ask you, what does this week mean for you? Being a survivor of a crime, what does this our nation celebrating or not really celebrating because we don't want to celebrate that anyone was a victim, but our nation coming together to make a difference for victims.
It's very important to me because when I got the call about this, I said I had to be there. I live in Virginia, but to me, it was worth the trip.
Mhm.
If I can help one person, crime prevention is very important. And a lot of us don't talk. We want to keep silent because we're afraid that, they say snitches get stitches and things of that nature. But it might be your mother the next time that could get, it might be your sister, brother. And when it hits home, then it's a different thing. But
Yes.
this is very important. And we as a people of color, we need to take it serious because before you know it could show up at your front door and then you want people to help you. And we need to help each other. And this is how we survive. We've been dealt, if you will, they say they still owe us 40 acres and mule, but we owe ourselves something. Accountability is the thing. We have to be accountable. We are our brother's keepers. And a lot of times, as I said, we keep silent because we don't want to seem like we're rocking the cradle, but we're hurting innocent people. We're letting the victim is being victimized all over again.
Excuse me. Yes,
Because
and
they're
that's so
keeping
true.
secrets. We're keeping secrets.
Right. So if you are a victim of sexual assault or rape, please reach out and get help. If you can't talk to your family, if you can't talk to your friends, go to counseling. Definitely, first of all, go to police and let them know what happened, but go and seek counseling. Counseling is really going to make a difference. Even for me, being a survivor of attempted murder, and I wouldn't say the R word, I would not say and rape. I would just say, yeah, I survived attempted murder. I was so humiliated, so embarrassed, so degraded that I thought, also in my mind, I thought if anyone looked in my eyes, they can see what happened to me. It plays so many tricks on your mind and on your heart and on your just on your psyche, everything, that it is important to get counseling. So I would suggest get counseling, but also please don't allow someone telling you that they don't believe your story to make you close up and shut in or whatever. Go and seek someone, keep trying to find someone until you can find someone that will hear you and that will support you and that will give you the courage to go ahead and move forward to get the help you need, and also to be able to persecute that person to the best of your ability, if you're able to, so that the law can do what they can do to get that person off the street. It's so important. You don't want someone else to be a victim of that crime too. And we also wrote a series of children's books, me and four of my five daughters, and it's a series of books called the Helpville Learner Series. They're in the Alabama school systems. They're in the Gwinnett County libraries. Teachers, counselors, different people can use them. But they're books to help kids with things like this. Specifically, one of the books that I wrote in the series is called What Happened to Candy. And Rachel, can you hand me that book? It's the one that says What Happened to Candy. But when I wrote this book, I wanted to make sure that any child that may suffer through any type of sexual abuse or sexual assault would understand to continue to seek, if they talk to their parents and their parents are not believing them, or if they talk to, and they can't get help there, to go and talk to a counselor at school, talk to the principal, talk to a teacher, talk to someone at your church if you're in church, talk to your neighbor if you feel that's someone you can trust. But make sure you reach out and get some help as a kid. So it's so important to us that children have a better understanding, because CD Truth and myself, as adults, we know what we went through being survivors of rape or sexual assault. So can you imagine for a little kid who can't even understand what's going on? So it's, again, very important to me that we educate our community and that we do the things that can make a difference. And especially when it comes to our kids or people in general. No one wants to be a survivor or a victim of sexual assault or sexual abuse. No one does. So what can we do to make a difference? We have to come together as a community. We have to partner with law enforcement as well, so that we can build stronger allies in the community, so that we can have a better chance of stopping some of the crimes that we see happen throughout, cities and states. So we definitely have to come together. And I'm just going to have you share a couple of statistics about sexual assault. And then we're going to bring Rachel, and then we're going to hear from Sergeant Rodriguez. And we're going to kind of wrap up with my story. I did tell you about one of my children's books. But again, those are important to me. If you're interested in writing your story or interested in getting your book out there, but you don't have a publishing company, I do have a publishing company, Lady Knight Enterprises Publishing. You can go to that website, ladyknightenterprisespublishing.com, and get information, or you can call 678-888-5599, and I can help you get your story out there and help you with your writing if that's something you desire to do. But what are some of the statistics you want to share about sexual assault?
Some statistics are 70 every 73 seconds an American is sexually assaulted. Every 9 minutes, that victim is a child.
Wow. 73 seconds, a person is assaulted, and every 9 minutes is a child. And that's just disgusting and terrible. It really is. That is very deep.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing some of the statistics with us. Again, we're at the Morrow City Hall. We're going to be down here for about another hour and 15 minutes to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come down, get some material. As a matter of fact, come down, get some material to pass out in your community, pass out at your church. But we have stuff for you so that you can make a difference right there in your own community. Come on down. It's 1500 Morrow Road, the Morrow City Hall in Morrow, Georgia. Okay. We'll be here to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much, CD, for sharing with us. We're going to hear from Rachel next. And Rachel is the author as well, and she's going to tell us about her book. And I'm actually going to have you come out this way, make it a little bit easier since I don't have the pictures on that chair anymore. There we go. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Come on in. Come on in. Again, I'm here. My name's Rhonda Knight. I'm the host of Real Talk with Rhonda Knight. And I am one of the national leaders for Voices of Black Mothers United. I oversee 4 states because I kind of do some stuff in Michigan too, which is my home state. We're really trying to make a difference for mothers, especially, but people who have lost their children to violence. And then I'm also the founder of HUMS. As you can see, we have information for Voices of Black Mothers United on there. And then HUMS is the nonprofit that I founded in 2008. And we've been going strong ever since. Our goal is to stop violence towards people, but especially women and children. So we appreciate your support. Those are the websites you can learn more information about both organizations. Please support there as well. And if you want to give a financial donation to help us in our outreach, you can certainly do it at any one of those websites. All right. Hey, Rachel, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And Rachel, tell me about your book and what was your motivation in what you wrote. And you want to hold it up?
Yes.
I can hold it up too while you're talking if you want. Sometimes there's a little glare and I'm trying to make sure they can see it clear.
Yes. So I developed a therapeutic journal. My background is in counseling. One of the things that I often do is I wake up before my household gets chaotic and I just sit. I sit and I read scriptures, but I felt like I needed much more.
Okay.
And so what I needed was something to work me through what I consider to be generational trauma. And so I needed a little bit more. So I developed this book here. It's called Heal, Grow, Reset.
And I don't know if they can see inside, but you can tell them how you designed it too.
Right, okay. So Heal, Grow, Reset. It is called that because in 2020, I quit my job as a teacher and I kept hearing God say, reset, reset. I needed to reset. And so Heal, Grow, Reset. I empower women to heal from their past, grow in their present, and then reset for their future. So that's what God gave me. And so every morning with myself, I sit and I just work through the pages. And I just work through the prompts. And the prompt just simply asked me, what am I expecting for today? Right? Am I expecting more joy, more peace? Am I expecting more finances, right? Am I expecting to get better with my money? Am I expecting to heal from my trauma? What is it that I'm actually expecting? And then also, what is it that I'm grateful for? I want to make sure that I'm living every day, not only with a mindset of expectation, but also with a mindset of being grateful for what God has given me,
Amen.
not just in spite of what has happened to me or what has happened around me, but because of what has happened. Now I can live stronger. And then I also sit with myself, sit with my feelings. Right now I feel, and I'm going to choose to feel, because it's important for me to be honest with me. It's important for me to honor myself and my feelings. And then also what inspired me the most today, and then 3 things I hope for tomorrow. And so
Awesome.
that's what I have for the Heal Grow Reset Journal.
Okay, so what does this week mean for you? Because you may have not, I don't know if you've experienced any type of crime, but you decided to write a therapeutic journal. So you have to be healing from something. So what does this week mean to you personally?
So this week for me, it meant for me just thinking more about, like you was talking about, the statistics with the children, and just thinking about that generational trauma that could possibly happen if parents and grandparents aren't healed from their trauma, and just thinking about what can be passed down. One of the things that I often read is about statistics about how in our generation, also in our culture, how we don't really approve of therapy. We don't really approve of healing. We often
Right.
look at it as taboo, as is for other cultures. And then it's also a public.
You're not strong, you're crazy, you're not being faithful. If you get counseling, what? You're not a believer. But
Right.
no, God put those
Right.
people there and he gave them that education so that they can help us through the situations. It's okay to get counseling.
Yes, it is absolutely. Like I see a lot of shirts, it'll say Jesus plus therapy. Right. We can
I
have
love it.
both. We can have both of those, right?
Yes.
But not just that, it's also somewhat of a public health issue as well. There's not a lot of people who can have access to counseling, right? And so I feel that journaling is that low barrier of entry to get started, to start the healing process until, if you can afford therapy, or you can meet with the therapist who maybe understand your culture, right? Because that's another issue. But so that's why it's important for us to be able to sit with ourselves 5 minutes in the beginning of the day, 5 minutes at the end of the day, to just really explain to yourself, how is it that I'm actually feeling in this exact moment, and being honest. It's okay to say, I feel as though I'm going through depression, right? Because the thing is, you want to get to the roots of the issue. You don't want to just keep bypassing it and just saying I'm okay when you're not.
Awesome. That was great. That's really great. And I love how she designed this, guys. This is really, really a nice book. And it's not just a regular journal. She gives you instructions of what to do. And she said 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. And it's things I hope for tomorrow, like things you want to happen tomorrow. So maybe you were having a bad day today. What are you looking for tomorrow? So it gives you that hope before you go to sleep. Like, okay, all right, tomorrow I'm hoping that on my job, there's going to be peace. My boss is not going to bother me. Or tomorrow, I'm hoping my marriage is a lot better than today. And then my husband really sees the jewel he has in me, or whatever your situation is. So I love this. As a matter of fact, I invited Rachel to be a part of the Impact and Influence Authors Conference next year because she's got a great book. You know, I love great books. Okay. All right. Anyway, and her husband has a great book too, but we're going to have him on our show on the other show. This one is a different one. All right. But anyway, I kind of crossed them both over. Hey, come on in. Well, I want to have you come in because we actually have information during National Crime Victims' Rights Week. And we have some different people here passing out wonderful and free information. And then we're doing some fundraising too to help us with our outreach in the community. Just at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
All right. Come back and see me.
Then I can get everybody coming in.
Yay. I love it. I appreciate it. All right. See, guys, we're live. So we got to do the live stuff too, because we want people to come out and support what we're doing. We're here for a reason. We're not just here because we love one another, which we do, but we're here because we want to make a difference for you and for you and for you and for you. And I know you want to help us with that. So reach out to us, even if you can't come down tomorrow. It's so funny when you say Morrow, Georgia, and you say tomorrow because you like tomorrow, but it's a little joke in there. But anyway, even if you can't come down here tomorrow, Georgia, then you still can be a part, important part of this week of National Crime Victims' Rights Week by donating and helping us to reach out to other communities and to make a difference. And if you want us to come to your community, where we'll love to come and make a difference there as well, you can reach me personally, Rhonda, at 678-888-5599. 99. I love to work with you. Let's work together and make this world a better place, okay? All right, Rachel, anything else you want to share before we go to Sergeant Rodriguez?
Just the last thing, just heal, and if
Heal,
that
I love
includes
it.
therapy,
Mm-hmm.
then let it include therapy.
Yes, yes, yes. Great word. Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate you. And now, our beautiful young lady I love. She does so much in the community. So proud of her. You know, you guys know how I am, and I just really do have to keep it real with you. But one thing I love when you might want to cut through here, that I love about Sergeant Rodriguez is because she looks like a beautiful young lady and just so cute. That's okay.
Okay.
Because it's my battery's charged up enough. And I love her personality in the sense of that to me, I look at her, she's just so petite, but she seems like a bad but, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's not going to take anything from you. So, okay, don't mess with her. But anyway, she's always got that smile on her face and she's always making a difference in the community. The first time I met her, she was taking kids shopping at Walmart's to go buy all the stuff for Christmas.
Mhm.
So I love the wonderful work she does for the Morrow Police Department. And so thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's great to be part of such a great organization, to
Thank
be giving
you.
back to the community and to victims.
Thank you so much. So let me ask you, why do you do what you do? Because you could just be an officer and come to work and do what you do and go home. But why did you decide to get in the area you're in to make a difference in the communities? What was your motivation?
Well, I first got into law enforcement because I love helping people, and
Mhm.
I get to help people that can't help themselves, because people call 911 and call police because they're having some kind of problem, whether it's a disagreement and they just
Mhm.
need someone to hear them out, or it's because they actually need help and they need some type of guidance. And
Mhm.
granted, I might not be the right person to help you all the way through, but I can provide that third party. So
Yes.
it could be whether it's your organization
Mhm.
or some other organization, depending on what it is that you're dealing with, I can point you in that right direction. And sometimes it just takes, another police officer or myself to put you in contact with who it is that you need to get that help and support from. So policing started for me because I wanted to help people and be able to give back to the community. And now
Awesome.
doing community engagement, I actually get to just deal with the community. So it's a
Yes.
completely different aspect from
Mhm.
policing, but I love it because I get to do more fun things like this
Mhm.
and help people in a different sense. So it's
Yeah.
great.
Awesome. And we're so thankful for you and for what Morrow Police Department does, even in engaging with their community. So it's a wonderful thing. So why do you think it's important this week across the country for National Crime Victims' Rights? Why is that important to you? And why do you think it's important, period, across our country?
Just in general, I think it's great for victims to know that they have a voice, they have rights,
Mhm.
and they should get to know those rights. A lot of times
Yes.
people just think they're a victim and
Mhm.
they call 911, they make a report and it ends there, but it really doesn't end there. There's so
Yes.
much more that happens behind closed doors. Unfortunately, as a victim, you want things to happen instantly.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's not just we're going to fix it for you within the next day or so. It takes time and it takes patience. But if you have great communication, whether you're with your law enforcement agency and
Mhm.
with the victims, the crime victims unit through the district attorney's office,
Mhm.
they'll help you throughout the way and answer any questions that you may have and be able to put you more at ease, with what your situation and what you're actually going through. So it's
Mhm.
great to know what rights you do have and what resources are out there for you.
And you're right about that. And I want to tell you, listen, guys, like I say, I've survived attempted murder and rape. And so during my ordeal, by the time I literally, let me tell you, in my whole ordeal, after escaping from that whole situation and being held hostage for a moment and the person letting me go, my first instinct was to drive to the police department. But when I got to the police department, I couldn't even figure out how to go in to the police department. Couldn't think what door to go in. And so I called 911. I'm like, help, I just survived attempted murder. I just, survived rape. I'm in the parking lot, but I don't know how to get in, because when you go through a crime, your mind is so messed up, you can't think clearly. And the officers were very nice. They were like, just stay where you are. We're going to come to you. And when it came, they said, no. You don't need to come to the police department. We need to get you to the hospital. And so they said, do you mind riding in the back of the police car? I'm like, no, I don't mind. And they took me to the hospital. But one of the things I appreciated, we hear so much about what law enforcement is not doing, but nobody ever tells the wonderful stories of what they do. And every day they're doing great things for us as a community. We cannot make it without law enforcement. We need to come together and work as a community and law enforcement together, and it can make such a difference. But those officers came back and forth to the hospital to tell me what was going on and to tell me when they apprehended the perpetrator who did the crime to me. And not only did they do that, but they gave me information. I don't remember if it was the hospital or the police department, but someone gave me information on where to talk to, get counseling and about victims advocates and all this stuff. And I wasn't really being able to understand things then, but when I did get a moment to really read and see the information they gave me, it was very vital. And I needed that information. Even going back and forth to court, going through PTSD started to affect panic attacks, anxiety, crying spells, flashbacks. Like if I closed my eyes, I would see what happened, and then I would go all panicky and not being able to sleep for over 3.5 years. Yes, I went through all that, and you guys see me on my shows, and you would never know that. But it was the police department and the things that are in place legally to help victims. Why this week is important to me, because they provided so much for me. When I had to go back and forth to court, my mind couldn't think of what I need to do or what I was going for, all that, or remember anything, but they gave me a victim's advocate. And I commend those people that are victim advocates, because they go into the court with you and they tell you everything that's going on. They're like, you're here for this, and they're going to do this, and this is what's going to happen. And and you're like, oh, okay, because you don't know. They walk you through the process. And so you're not alone. And as Sergeant Rodriguez has said, you need to understand your rights. And a lot of times you do call 911 if you have a situation, and you may leave it there. But like she's saying, learn your rights, learn what's out there where you can get the justice that you deserve if you've been a victim of a crime. And I thank you and every police officer that does the right thing for the things that you do, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And I think you guys need a round of applause. I'm thankful for you. I really am. And I'm going to wrap up here, guys. I don't like to go more than 45 minutes to an hour with the show for you all, but I hope we were able to educate you. I hope we're able to help you understand that we have to come together and make a difference, especially when it comes to our youth, okay? Because a lot of times young people just react. They don't think before they act. And so if we can educate them, if we can do programs or have seminars or workshops or something that can educate them in our individual communities to help them to understand that crime, black on black crime, white on white crime, any crime on any person, that it affects not only that family, as we spoke about earlier, but it affects the community, it affects the state, it affects the world. So what can we do to make a difference? So help us, guys, especially think about this week and think about what you can do to make a difference. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for always viewing me on Real Talk with Rhonda Knight. See you next time. God bless you. And thank you so much. And thank you to all my guests. I appreciate you. And thank you, Sergeant Rodriguez.
Thank you.
Guys, we love you. Pass this on. Don't just watch it now, but share it on your Facebook page and wherever you can so you can make a difference for someone. Thanks. I appreciate you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.